on this little oil painting that I was working on yesterday. There it is. You can see it's partly done. Partly done. What I'm about to do now is just finish getting myself set up. Let's go back to that one. Oh, wrong one. Different background. There we go. First of all, don't you just hate these bloody caps that they put on these bottles? I know it's to stop kids taking the top off and for some reason thinking this might be something to drink. Why anybody would think it was something to drink, I don't know. But the problem is, this stuff, liquid, if you leave it for a little while, it hardens. And you can't get the damn top off without breaking it. So all in all, it's a brilliant design. It doesn't work because you've got to break it. Then you've got to get a pair of mold grips on it and twist the damn thing off. Once you've done that, you're cooking. But a little moan there at the beginning. And just struck me. I was just getting ready to show you everything, and saying, "Oh yeah, this is what I'm doing now," blah de blah, and all the rest of it. And then I realised I couldn't get the damn top off. Anyway, here we are, back again. What did we do yesterday? If you did not see yesterday's session where I started this, you can go back and watch it. It is on Facebook. It is on Twitter. Yeah, that's it. It's on YouTube and it's on Twitch. So you can, wherever you want, you can go back and find it and watch it. You can skip through it. You know, you don't have to watch the whole thing fully live if you don't want to. It does take a little bit of time. But it'll give you some idea what's going on. But I'll bring you up to steam anyway. What I did yesterday is I started work on this photograph here. Now this is a photograph that I have already doctored. I've already composited this picture from this one. Yeah, I don't get what people get freaky about photographs. Oh, you work from photographs and all that sort of thing. Well, okay, yes, I work from photographs. Why do I work from photographs? Well, I like to paint people. I like to paint people when they don't know that I'm painting them, when they don't know that they're being watched. You know, now some people might say that's invasive. Well, you know, you can argue about absolutely anything, can't you? But what it comes down to in the end is there's something very special about capturing a moment and then turning that moment into a painting. And that's what this is all about. It's capturing a moment and turning it into a painting. I don't know any of these people. Now, this is a photograph that I took 7 years ago when Jane and I were on honeymoon in Paris. This is a cafe by the name of de Maggot, and it's nothing to do with maggots. Maggot, I think, means puppet or doll or something like that. And it's based on something about two puppets. I don't quite get it, but that's what it is. And it's famous, very famous cafe on the Rue Saint-Germain in Paris. You know, this is a place where at the turn of the 19th into the 20th century, this is where you would have found people like Jean Cocteau and Picasso and Satie and all these people at the forefront of painting and art and literature and music. They would all go to places like de Maggot. So this is you know, I took lots of photographs and I've already done a painting based on some of on a part of this, a different part of this this cafe. But that's not perfect. what I did like about this painting and why I started painting it is I like the waiter. I like the waiter just standing there, literally waiting for something to happen. And it just sparked a little memory for me of that wonderful Hopper painting of the cinema, where you can see on the left hand side you can see the people looking and watching at the cinema screen, and on the far right you can see the usherette standing there bored silly, just waiting for it all to be over. And it just struck me that guy's standing, it's a very similar sort of mood that he's got on him, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to have that. So I don't want all of that. It's too busy. It's not focused enough. It doesn't focus on him. So I cropped it, and I cropped it down to that, which brings him into the foreground and brings focus onto what's going on in the scene. The only trouble is it's got that absolutely horrible parasol stuffed right in the middle of it, and I didn't want that. So I just put it into Photoshop, messed about with it, took away the umbrella, and because the umbrella was obscuring so much of the window, I did a little bit of jiggery pokery and took a window from another part of the same building. There is still a window from De Margot, and messed about with it and brought it in, made it transparent, did all sorts of things to it, and replaced the window in the painting with something which I like a lot more. So that's what I'm painting from, and yesterday I got it to, where are we? There we are. I got it to there. If you can see where we're at the moment. What I've done is I worked yesterday with no white. I worked the oil painting almost as if I was painting with watercolour, rather than, the typical way, the traditional way maybe of painting with oil paints, where you paint the dark in first and then you just add white to everything and bring everything forward with paint that contains white. This is a different way of doing things. This is called, when you paint like this, it's called essence. What you're doing is you're painting with just the basic colours, the basic pigments, but you're using hardly any pigment at all, and you're mixing it in to the solvent. So I was using San Salvador yesterday. I don't know whether you get this in the country that you're in, but this is San Salvador. It's easily available here in England. I think it should be probably easily available in the USA as well. Windsor and Newton, I think, are all over the place. And basically, it's a solvent, a low odour solvent, so it doesn't smell as bad as terps. So I was using that, and literally I used this, and I put a tiny bit of it in the bottom here, and at the end of the session it was still clean. I poured most of it back into the bottle, because today we're not going to be using that. Today we're moving on, and we're going to be using Liquin. I love Liquin. It is absolutely fantastic. Liquin, I'm sure you know Liquin, but if you don't, this is a Liquin. This is a lovely sized bottle of Liquin. I've had this a while now. I was really lucky. I found it really cheap in Hobbycraft a few years ago. I'm sure it was price strong, but hey, it's lasted ages. Liquin is what I'm going to be using. Put some into the little what do we call those things? It'll come to me in a minute. This is one of those little glass receptacles. If you buy a creme brulee or whatever in a supermarket, quite often they come in these lovely little ramekin. That's the word I'm looking for. Lovely little ramekins. This is a beautiful little glass ramekin, and they are ideal for putting things like liquid into, or putting things like your solvent into. Really good. Nice and heavy, isn't going to fall over. Nice and low centre of gravity. Smashing. So, today we're going to carry on working on this baby. I'm working from my tablet, which I have here in front of me. You can't see it, but it is here. There it is, on its stand. Got myself a new stand last week. Made all the difference in the world. Haven't knocked it over once since I got it, which is great, because before that I was knocking it over every few minutes, as anybody that's watched the first few videos that I did in the series will testify to. Right, so let's find the photograph, which is in here. Where's it gone? There we go. That's opening up. Find the photograph that I'm working from. I must sort this out. I moved this photograph from somewhere else, and because the photograph was taken 7 years ago, Google Photos has decided to put it as if I'd put it in here 7 years ago. So I have to go back in time to August. Where has it gone? August 2014, which is when I actually took the photograph, even though I created this one night before last. Right, I've got it in front of me now, and so what we're going to do today, I've still got the paint on the by my side here. This is, I'm not working on, I wish I could move that, but I can't. I was going to say I could move the camera, but unfortunately I can't move it sideways. But what I've done, I don't have a regular run-of-the-mill palette. What I do is I get a piece of greaseproof paper, baking paper, and I tape it to the table by my side, and that's all I'm working on. And the paint has gone a little bit thick. Some of it has overnight, not all of it. It's got a bit of a skin on it, but it's, yeah, see, things like blues tend to skin over quicker than others, but it's still totally usable. I put a saucer over it overnight, and it's still so totally usable. The difference today is that today, whereas yesterday whereas I wasn't using any white, today out comes the white, and I'm going to start working in maybe a slightly more traditional way of working with oil paints. Now we've got that in place. I've got the same problem as I always have with these things. I don't know whether it's my hands or what, as I get older, but I get more and more difficulty getting the tops off the damn paints. And this is oh, I got it. This is a big one. When I do a lot of knife painting, and when you're knife painting, you use a lot of paint, a lot of pigment, and so I buy the ordinary size tubes of paint, but the white needs a big one, and so I buy a big paint. You'll notice that what I'm using here are alkyds. Alkyds work exactly the same way as oils. They feel like you're working with oils, but they dry a lot quicker, which is great. This is totally dry. I was working on it yesterday, and it was dry because I was working with essence basically. It was drying almost as I worked on it. Today we're going to use liquid. Now you might say, I don't use alkyds because alkyds aren't oil paints, are they? I asked you a question though. Do you use liquid? Because if you use Liquin, you are basically turning your oil paints into alkyds, semi-alkyds anyway, because that's what Liquin is. Liquin is an alkyd medium. I like working in alkyds. I've worked in them for years. They work exactly like traditional oils, but they dry quicker, so I can have a faster turnover. Somebody says at the end of this at the end of these sessions, I'd like to buy that painting. Within a couple of days it's dry enough to put into a parcel and post to you. No problem. I don't have time to mess around. Right, let's get down to work. The chat room is open. If anybody would like to talk to me as I paint, I am only too happy to join in. I very much like to converse with people while I'm painting. Forgive me if you do leave a message on the chat and I don't see it straight away. I keep meaning to try and get some kind of sound to be made when I actually when somebody writes something in the chat, so I can see that they've done it, but I just don't seem to be able to get it to do it. If anybody knows how to do that, working in Restream, please, feel free, fill me in. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to work on this area over here. I'm going to work on the windows and try and get the background to sort of come into some kind of shape. What I've got is, at the moment, just very thin sort of washes. What I want is now to make it feel like this is really sort of coming to some kind of... Well, we're just going to start working some detail then, which is satisfying. So I'm going to start by bringing in now. I'm not going to do a lot of blending here. I like very much to let the brush marks have some kind of say in what happens. I like you to be able to feel the paint as I put it on. I hope this is going to be okay for you over the top. Actually, it's more okay than it is for me, I think, over the top, because there's, when you're working with the cameras here, you've got to have a lot of light, and one of the problems you can get when you're working with oil paints is that they're shiny, and so they reflect. So I hope we don't get too much of that as we go on. That's better. It's nice working on a small area sometimes when you're doing this. I do tend to work bigger when I'm working with oils usually than I do with, oh, that's nice, got some texture in there, than I do when I'm working with watercolours, but there's no reason why you have to. You can work small with oils, and it works perfectly well. And it works quite well for this sort of demonstrating because, you know, I've got a setup here where you've got the camera above. Hello, S. Smith. I think we've spoken before, haven't we? You're on Twitch, I think, aren't you? I can't remember. Am I talking to a lady or a gentleman? It's nice to know when you're talking. I love soft pastels. I used to do a lot of work in soft pastels at one time. For one thing, they're a lot faster for me to produce a picture in, which, you know, can mean that you actually can produce a picture that's at a more reasonable cost for the client, so to speak. And you can get wonderful effects with soft pastels. Big fan. In fact, I might show you. Bear with me 1 second, just carry on looking at the screen. Let me show you one of my favourite soft pastels that I did. Let's go to, hold on, I have to remember what I'm doing here. Let's go to my website. Let's go to paintings, people. Please feel free to go and have a browse at my website and have a little look around. I've got loads of work on there that you can see. There we go. Let's see if we can bring this up onto the screen for you. Where is it? Screen recording, window capture. That's it. There we go. Now you should see it. That's soft pastels. That's my daughter when she was 4 years old. That's almost 30 years old, that painting, and I have it hanging in the house. It's one of my most precious belongings, I suppose. One of my most precious paintings. And it's all soft pastel. I did a lot of pastel portraits and that sort of thing. But no, I love pastels. But I also love oil paints and watercolours and all that sort of thing too, which is why. There we go. So I'm doing this in this way. So yeah, here we go. So at the moment, as I'm saying, I'm putting in the background. I tend to be less, I don't know, less precise is the word, but I tend to try and be more free with oils than I am with watercolours. My watercolours tend to be tighter, just the way it goes really. But I do like, personally, I'm a great fan of loose painting. Hi there, Raj, how are you? Thank you, yes, it's coming along. Just starting to work into it with oils. Oh, the pastel. Aha, right. Oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah. That's one of my favourites. It just captured her just spot on as she was then. She's grown up now with a couple of kids of her own, but the pastel survives beautifully, so that's nice. There we go. This is there we go. I need to get another camera, I think, so you can see what I'm doing on the palette. I know a lot of people like to watch, I do myself, watch the paints being mixed and things, so I shall do that at some point. I do have some more on mobile phones lying around the place, which, believe it or not, is what you are watching this on. Oh dear. I'm fine, thank you. Certainly not that hot here. I should imagine. You're at the height of your summer in India. I should imagine it is excruciatingly hot. Sometimes I'm going to have to tilt this towards me so I can see what I'm doing more clearly. The paint reflects off it as it's going on. Maybe I'll try a different camera setup at some point for working on the oils. Works absolutely fine with the watercolours. But the oils tend to reflect a lot more. That's nice, I like that. That's it. Oh, well, you'll be able to see the subtleties of this. I really don't know with the reflections, but we'll see. We'll see. It's, well, I've got that on the brush. Let's add a bit of liquor into that, and let's come down the other side of the window. Alright, there we go. And let's bring in the greys and the greens of the reflections in this window that I really like, and add them to, let's bring that up a notch. I don't know whether any of you that were watching me painting the watercolours last week and the week before, but I tend to quite often say, oh, I'm knocking it back when it comes to adding a darker colour to one of the watercolours, specifically to lower the tonal value, to take it down a key in key. Whereas a lot of the time you will see me, when we're working in the watercolours here, in the oils here, you'll see me do the opposite. You'll see me add some white or a light mix of grey that I've already got down here or whatever to an existing colour, and you'll see me trying to raise it in key. There's a lot of working with oil painting that is very different. It's almost opposite to working with watercolours, which I think some people can find quite hard when they try and transfer over. You've got to learn what each medium likes, how it likes to be treated. There we go. I'm having to do a happy medium of having it so that you can see what's going on and so that I can see what's going on, so we're in between somewhere. I like working on reflections, but I also like working, one of the things that I do like working from is when adding things happening in the distance to the extent that they just become dots and dashes of colour, and that, I think that's really enjoyable to work on paint wise. What I'm doing here is I'm mixing together mainly different shades of different combinations of the Prussian blue and the yellow ochre with greys and white, bringing it up and down in key to try and create that feeling of reflection in the windows, but also remembering all the time that what I'm also trying to do is to create a paint surface that you will want to look at. This isn't let's create a photograph. This isn't let's make this a photographic experience. I've just noticed what you've written there. Oh, it's the rainy season. Oh, right. This is what we would call monsoon, where everything really pours down really heavily. Some years we just call that summer here in England, to tell you. But, that's nice. That's nice. Let's lighten that up. A bit more. Yeah, that's how I like it. Trying to create as well as the same with the same as I did with the watercolour in many respects. Try and get those hard and soft edges. Some parts it's blended, some parts it's not. Some places there will be a hard edge, some places there won't. Okay. Let's come down. I think that's the way to treat this, Raj. I think you got the right idea there. Just put me on in the background and then relax. It's I was trying to sort of think what it might be like, this sort of long format painting on video and all that sort of thing. And I think the thing I liken it to most, I suppose, I was thinking about this just today. It's radio, putting the radio on in the background, and different music will come on, and different the DJ will talk a little bit, but a lot of the time you're not really taking much notice of what's going on, and then maybe something will come on that you like, and you pay attention, and treat me like that, really. I'm here, painting away. You don't have to watch all the time. You can just have a little look when you feel like it. Nice, 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 nice. The whole point of doing these small paintings, these little ones, is to get something at a different price point, I suppose, is the way that I would looking at it if I was a 101% commercial organisation. I know quite a lot of people have said that they really like my oil paintings, and especially these cafe scenes and these scenes from Paris and places. I suppose they call them, I think it's about, I'd call them genre studies, I would call them. Little snippets of life. But they can't afford the biggies. And I totally 100% get that, because I couldn't. And so these hopefully people will feel that they can spare their just over £100 or so for one of these when they're finished. That's it. This is coming along just how I like it. Let's add some more liquid. Some down there. Down here, very much. I want to keep that depth of shadow in here. Sometimes it's absolutely, one of the most enjoyable things is getting that an area that's got a dense area of shadow, like these areas on this painting have, but just working into them here and there in such a way that you can see that in that shadow, in there, in that density of darkness, there is something else, something beyond the darkness, something beyond that wall of the unknown. It's just being all mysterious and stuff. But there we go. And down there, that's dense. It's coming. It's a strange thing, this painting in this way, because for ages and ages and ages it just looks like rubbish. It looks like nothing, you know. And then all of a sudden, out of it starts to appear, it starts to, as the detail goes in and as you paint further into it, it begins to all come together, and that's what's exciting. At the moment, is of course, you know, the figures are just, they're not there. You can see where they're going to be, but they're not there. But they will appear as time goes by. I think it's important, well, I find it important, to set the scene before you start looking at putting the figures into that scene, really, because once you've got context, it's much easier to work the people into that context. It's like you create your characters in your play. The actors go away, they learn their lines, they practice their moves, they work on bringing it to life for them. And in the background, these dedicated men and women are working away, building sets and getting props and working on lighting plots and all this sort of thing. And then it's time to bring it all together. And the first thing that has to happen is that those people from behind the scenes, they have their moment where they have to bring it on, and they create the world for the actors to work in. This is, in my mind, this is similar. This is very similar. This is recreating the world for my characters to exist in. Is that lighter? I can't see. No, it's not light enough. I get these things popping up saying such and such a person asked to join outdoor painting. Turns out I'm some kind of moderator for a group called Outdoor Painting. I have no idea why. I never set it up. I never said to anybody, I'll be moderator for Outdoor Painting, but it seems I am. Very strange. That's nice. That's nice. And a little bit more. Sometimes you're going to be able to see better than others. I'm afraid as I do this, I have to be able to see because I don't know what I'm doing otherwise. There we are. What you're seeing as reflections, I'm afraid, a lot of the time. But I think you'll see that you can see, if I get the tilt on it, that it is coming together. You'll see. That's nice. Put it there for a second and have a little look at it, make sure it is coming along how I want it to. It's important to stand back from a painting in some way. Of course I can't stand back where I am, I'm sitting down and there's a wall behind me. So this is the best, newest that I can do on that front. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Hopefully when it gets a little bit further down the line, this painting will encourage people to stay and watch it a little bit more. I know very well that, I'm very aware that at this point it looks like nothing on earth. But I know that it will, by the end of it, be totally different. So far so good. It's a very strange thing to be doing sometimes, because I get I suppose you call them analytics or whatever, at the end of the session, sent to me from Restream and from Twitch, but they never seem to match with what I see. I see a number at the bottom of the chat box, and at the moment it says number 1. Now that makes me think there's just one person watching. But I actually go and look at the analytics afterwards, and I say, oh, at one point there were 6 people watching. On the whole, 30 people have watched it, and all this sort of thing. I mean, this is all new to me, to be perfectly honest. This whole thing of live streaming is a new thing to me. So I know there's not going to be tons of people watching me at any one time. At the moment, you have to stick at these things and make them work. And that's what I'm trying to do, I suppose. So at any one time, there could be a lot more people watching than I realise. Or a lot less, I suppose. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with you. It's baffling. I have no idea. I am at the moment. I think I've got about 9 followers, which I picked up in just over. Well, I think this is probably my 7th Twitch session. So in 7 sessions, I've picked up 9 followers, which I suppose it's a steady start. But sometimes I'm looking, it'll say 8. Sometimes I'm looking, it'll say 9, and I have no idea, to be perfectly honest. the one I've never ever yet been able to sort of get much traction on, and I suppose that's down to the way I've been approaching things, I suppose, but it is YouTube. I've had a YouTube channel for years. I've had a couple, to be honest, I've got a few YouTube channels. I've got some for sound and some for videos that I've made, and this one, of course, for art. But in all that time, I've managed to get up, I think I've got 42 followers now. And of course, if you want to make any kind of cash out of YouTube, you need a lot of followers. You really do. I hear people say that it's exponential. You can go along for years and years and nothing happens, and then all of a sudden, if it's going to happen, it starts to shoot up overnight, and suddenly you've gone from 500 followers to 100,000 followers, just because the algorithm has finally discovered you and put you in front of the right people. Oh, really? That's why things disappear. It's bots. Yeah, I did have one. I did spot one the other day that was most definitely a bot. I think most people so far have actually been people, which is quite nice. Yeah. I look at people on YouTube and I look down and I'm watching this sort of totally, inane sort of video, and I look down and it goes, it's had 250,000 likes, views, whatever. I think, really? This person has 1.5 million followers. Really? It's hard to understand a lot of it. I mean, I will say it's probably to do with my age, I would admit that, but yeah, that's true. I've done that in the past, but I don't know. I've never, in a way, I've not really known what to do in this sort of sense, because that's no good. That should be black. Let's take that out. Yeah, I've never really understood exactly what to do in that way, because as you can see, my paintings take ages to do, and so if I'm gonna do painting ones, I've got to spend to bring it down. I've got to spend an awful lot of time editing. I have done I've done a few time lapses recently. I've taken like 8 hours down to a minute for Instagram, and they always look impressive. People like to look at them, but not on YouTube. But I'll crack it in the end, I suppose. Yeah, so I'm getting to that one of those bits where I've stopped talking to you all and just end up concentrating on what's happening in front of my eyes. Yeah, I must say that paying for promotion thing is a pain in the backside. You know, when you are, when you're in my position, when you are an artist and that's what you do, the last thing you can afford to do is pay for promotion. I tried it a few years ago for a little while on Facebook. I tried paying a few pounds here and there for promotion. I got nothing back whatsoever from it. It was a total and absolute waste of time and energy, and moreover money. One thing that I mean, I haven't, to be honest, I have not been using Instagram much over until recently, and now I'm posting to Instagram constantly. I'm posting to Instagram a few times a day as I'm doing this, because of course I'm not streaming to Instagram. So when I finish doing this, I post to Instagram, and maybe make a little time lapse of it or whatever for Instagram. And I've got more followers. I haven't got a huge amount of followers. I've got about 210, I think it is, which is nothing really, followers on Instagram. But I'm getting the idea that what you have to do is just keep posting and posting and posting constantly with Instagram. So that seems to be what it's all about. The thing that had me mystified for a few days was every time I would post a picture onto Instagram, somebody would come on and go, "Oh, DM such and such a art hashtag whatever for promotion, blah blah blah." Well, what am I supposed to do here? I'm not paying for a promotion. What is this that I'm supposed to do? And so after a few days, I thought, okay, I'm curious. Let's see what it is. And I DM'd one or two of these, I suppose you'd call them handles, I don't know. What do you call them on Instagram? To get some kind of, to see what happened really. And literally within seconds of DM putting this direct message onto these addresses, I was inundated with, "Oh yes, just £5 and you can put your picture on our page, and oh, you'll get so much promotion," and all this absolute rubbish. And every one of them, it was basically some bot or other, or some guy or whatever in Nigeria or somewhere, I don't know, sitting there saying, basically waiting for you to give money for basically the right to post your picture on a page. And when you look at what's on the page, you start to look and go, okay, do I really want my picture to be buried amongst that lot? And you realise that it's all a scam. God, I get so many people trying to scam me nowadays, all the time. noticed. I got a great one on Facebook yesterday. I must say, I really, I had a bit of fun with it in the end. Sometimes, most of the time, I ignore it, or I get angry with them, or whatever. But yesterday, I got this guy. Let me find it on my phone. Where was it? Basically, he sent me a friend request. It was obvious it was a scam, because the friend request came from Evelyn Robert de Rothschild. Evelyn Robert de Rothschild is a real person. Evelyn Robert de Rothschild is 89 years old and is one of the Rothschild family. He's a multimillionaire, sort of British, sort of aristocracy-ish, basically big money man from a Rothschild family. Anyway, educated at Harrow and the British public schools and all this sort of thing. So I accepted this friend request from Evelyn Robert de Rothschild, who immediately direct messaged me, which was very nice of him, really. And he said, "Greetings to you, Steve," which I thought was very nice. So I replied, and I said, "And to you." I thought I'll be nice. And then Evelyn Robert de Rothschild says, "Nice meeting you. You're welcome to the Rothschild Illuminati dynasty. I'm called Lord Baron Evelyn Robert de Rothschild. Hope you are safe from the pandemic," which is very nice, I don't think. Hope that I was safe from the pandemic. So I replied. And I said, "Ha ha, Illuminati, really?" And the 89-year-old British aristocrat, Evelyn Robert de Rothschild, said, "I enjoyed making new acquaintances." I said, "I'm sure you do." And he said, "I'd like to share a common topic with you, and which may come as great opportunity you and the betterment of mankind." That got me thinking. So I did say to him, "I must say that for such a distinguished gentleman, your English is very poor. Perhaps it's due to your advanced age." He is actually 89 years old, after all. And there was a little silence, and then he says, "Pardon me, sometimes my keyboard play with my words." And so I replied, "You must think I was born yesterday. The Illuminati scam has been around for years. I've reported you to Facebook. Now do me a favour and off, you scamming." Words deleted in case there are children around. Honestly. But I thought it was very nice that Mr. Rothschild had decided to become my friend on Facebook. Unfortunately now, if you go and have a look, it says, "This person is no longer contactable on Messenger." Okay. I wonder why. Could it be that I reported him? Yeah, I suppose so. I've thought about it. Everybody seems to be doing it. Everybody who's there doing teaching videos on YouTube. I think I'm doing this because I wanted to. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. I sort of wanted to. I'm testing the water to see if anybody's interested, really and truly. I mean, a lot of it comes down in the end, doesn't it, to to thumbnails and clickbait and being able to lure people in with a snappy title. Seems to be what it's all about. I mean, obviously you've got to keep them once you've got them, so you've got to be interesting. I think maybe what I might do is I might take these videos and these long ones and just take some clips out of them and edit them together into, and then put different a new voiceover on it, so that I actually get something that is, like you say, about 10 minutes long and all about how to paint whatever I've been painting at the time. Yeah, imagine what a 10 to 20-year-old might want to watch. That's more difficult for me, really. I think most of my followers tend to be a lot older than that. I think the thing is, really, I've only treated social media to a great extent as a way of trying to sell me paintings, really. I mean, that's probably a bit mercenary, but if I don't sell paintings, I can't keep doing it. That's as simple as that, really. Oh, how's that looking? I'm quite happy with that, actually. Maybe that's sloping. No, it is sloping in. That's where we're at the minute. I think it's coming along, actually. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to get other people's views as it's coming along, because I sometimes can get too close to it, and you can go be doing something and then you suddenly think, why have I done that? I'll deal with that when I come to do the hair. Work the two together. Right, I'm quite pleased with that. What time is it? Not bad, 20 to 4. Right. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a minute. I'm just going to go and get a cold drink. And then I'm going to come back in a minute. I'm going to work on this area here and work on this lady over here and her table. Then gently, steadily work my way over. Where's my be right back? Back in a minute. There we go. Pull it down so people can see. Maybe I'll put something under there. What can I put under there? Tilt it up so you can see it better. That's better, isn't it? There we go. There we go. You can have a good look at it while I go and get myself a cold drink. Back in a minute. Yeah. I haven't actually seen Food Tube. I love James May. I mean, James May, don't know whether you been able to watch it in India, but James May did a series, I think it was on Amazon Prime or Netflix or whatever, recently, where he did a whole series of him cooking. Maybe it's clips from that, actually, that they've turned into Food Tribe. Oh, Food Tribe. Japan. Now, what's that mean? What do you mean by Japan? Elucidate. Pardon me. Right, gonna be a smaller brush for this next bit. Oh, James May in Japan. Oh, yeah, that was brilliant. James May in Japan was very, very good. Yes, I've seen that. No, he did a series. Oh, what was it called? Watched all of it. It was so funny. I think it's on Amazon Prime. Just a minute. I'll have a little look. Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. It's called James May Oh Cook. Was that what it was called? Yeah, that's it. It was brilliant. Really good. Watched the whole, quite a few episodes. And basically, he's learning to cook as you watch him. And it's really good. Oh, cook. We all know what he means. I love James May. Don't know whether you saw some of the programs that he made a few years ago where what was it called? It was something about toys, and he made an entire bridge out of Meccano, and a model railway track that ran for like a mile or something like that. It's crazy stuff. He built maybe not life size, but a huge, almost life size plastic airfix model of a Spitfire. I mean, just amazing stuff, really. I love James. He's ace. Right, let's pop those in. See where we're going with this. Let's start over here. Put them in. When I'm working in oils, I always put the dark bits in first, because the nature of oil is that it's easier to put a light colour over the top of a dark colour than it is to put a dark colour over the top of a light colour. It's just the way that it works. The worst thing that the BBC ever did was to sack them from Top Gear. Top Gear, I think it's just absolute. I've hardly watched it since. It just went totally rubbish. And such a shame, because for those years that those three did it, it was brilliant. Never missed it. And to be honest, I did watch a few episodes of the Grand Tour, but I never got into it in the same way. definitely. I mean, Clarkson's just made this new series. I don't know whether you've seen. I haven't watched it. I've seen it advertised. Clarkson's Farm, where he's bought a farm and he's decided he's going to try and be a farmer, and he's having a disastrous time by the sounds of it. But it was the dynamic of the three of them, though, worked so well. Oh, I think was that one of the early ones. I think I might have seen that one. That's the one. I remember it because they were talking. Oh yes, yeah, with the Falklands War. Honestly, they just. It's like the episode, the episode of Top Gear, where they were chased out of the southern states of America by a load of rednecks because of what they'd written on the sides of their cars. It's just hilarious. It gets me how people get so worked up about these things when it's very, very obvious that it's all for just being played for laughs. Yeah. And they get so angry about these different things that don't matter, honestly. I think these might. I think these things that you're talking about might be clips that they've taken out of James May O'Cook and turned into clips for YouTube. That sounds familiar. Okay, we'll do some live online thing here. Hold on. Where am I? Crispy chips, is that the one? Let's have a look.
Salty, vinegary, crisp.
Oh.
Just put your hand out. Salty, vinegary, crispy, bready, Lurpaki, invented in 1903. Like, comment, subscribe. Sorry, that was my gut. Hello, liking, commenting and subscribing brothers and sisters, yo brethren, welcome back to the Bug Out Bunker and Sandwiches of the 70s.
This is
one that you
Man on Painting on YouTube watches James May making butty on YouTube.
Crisps.
This is interesting.
These are crisps. If you're watching in Australia or America, I know you call them chips. We're calling them crisps for the purpose of this because it's the correct name for them. Also, later on in this
Indeed
video,
it is.
the crisps versus chips thing will become more confusing, but we'll come on to that. The crisp sandwich in the 70s was perfectly normal. You put crisps in a sandwich and you ate it. I've pre-Lurpacked the bread here because I know you're getting a bit...
Done it many times.
Lurpak, invented in 1903, spread all butter and so on. Lucy Brown, who is standing just off camera over there, has told me just before we started recording that in the modern world, a lot of young people actually add crisps to sandwiches rather than having crisp sandwiches because you said you get a meal deal from a small supermarket, a sandwich and a bag of crisps, and rather than eat them separately, you just put the crisps in the sandwich. Is that right? Which to us, me and Tom, because we're old, seems very extravagant. When we were young, crisps were the entire meal.
Totally were.
You added them to a
Absolutely.
sandwich, and you were lucky. So, salt and vinegar crisps, which I think make the best crisp sandwich, you simply arrange them on your pre-Lurpacked bread. Like, comment, subscribe. Lurpak, by the way, was invented in 1903. Spreadable Lurpak, that is.
Hey, I can see what I'm watching.
Crisps, and then, and this is a bit that will cause a debate in the comments as usual. I'm not going to lick my finger because people complain about that. Put the top of the sandwich on Now, do I go bang on the sandwich?
Yes.
Mr. Brown says yes. Tom Witter is
Definitely
yes.
got a crushed
Are you sure?
chip crisp,
Your
otherwise they fall
face
out.
said something. You looked appalled then, as if I'd said, "Do you put some dog poo in it?"
No, it's not like that. I've never had a crisp sandwich.
What?
I've never had one.
Seriously?
Yeah, I've never had a crisp sandwich.
Okay,
You're a
that
child of the
is
70s.
too middle class for your own good there, mate.
Well, that's a bonus because I didn't know that. Would you like a crisp sandwich, Tom?
I'd love one. No, I've never asked you before.
Right, really? And in which direction
I
would you
still
like
eat
a
crisp
sandwich?
sandwiches sometimes.
Rectangle, and do I?
Yes.
Lucy is saying yes. Press or bang?
Press.
Sounds good. Okay, rectangular salt and vinegar crisp sandwich coming up for Tom Witter, a man aged 55?
54.
54, I'm sorry, who has never had a crisp sandwich. So this is a seminal moment in your life, Tom, because once you've bitten this, you have had a crisp sandwich. Now the crisps can fall, well, they're already doing it, fall out of the sandwich. There you go. It's government issue bread. It's Standard Walkers. They are not sponsors or anything. Crisps. This is all stuff from the corner shop. Do you want to come in front of the camera so we record the noise of your first ever crisp sandwich? You've dropped a crisp. Oh, for God's sake. I must say, I haven't had one for a very long time. It's got to be good.
Oh, it's good. It's good. I can taste it.
Do you want some Lucy Brown or can I eat this one? There are more crisp sandwiches coming up.
I'll take this with me.
Please do. So for the first time in probably at least 2 decades, maybe 3, it's great.
It's still wonderful. Love it.
Salty, vinegary, crispy, bready. Paki, invented in 1903. Like, comment, subscribe. Sorry, that was my gut. However, how does that compare with a chip sandwich or a chip?
You've got a
butty,
point there.
as it would be known in Yorkshire. Chips.
I've not
here,
seen
as
anybody do
in
art
Australia
in this
and
way.
America, are fries, not crisps, which you call chips, but we call crisps. And we use the word chips correctly to mean what you would call French fries, which were invented by the British. So, in the warmer over there, which is why you can hear the ticking noise, we have 2 portions of chip shop chips, not oven chips or anything pretentious like that.
No, they gotta be chip shop
from
chips.
Chip shop just down the road from the bunker.
I suppose you have
And
chip
we're going to
shops
make
in
a
India.
Chip sandwich, a chip butty, and we're going to compare it with a crisp sandwich. And the reason we chose salt and vinegar crisps for this, you can put any flavour of crisps in a crisp sandwich, but the reason we chose salt and vinegar is because, of course, you have salt and vinegar on chips, stroke, fries. Oh dear, that's a bit disappointing.
Nah.
Hang on, I'll open another bag.
Mind you, you have amazing street food, don't you?
Look, can we just agree? These are crisps. It's not difficult to get your head round. We understand that Americans say automobile or eggplant. I mean, God. But we can deal with it. So, crisps. Chips are coming out of the heater. You would call them French fries. Henceforth, they are chips. Here we go. They're in a little cardboard tray to confirm that they are proper chip shop chips. Look at those.
Oh yeah, proper chip shop chips they
If
are.
this was my mother, she would use the grabbers.
Has to be in a
do
cardboard tray because the
that,
polystyrene
because
things
she
they
is
put them
actually
in nowadays
more
would
cheap.
melt.
She's been
And the old-fashioned
isolated for some
newspaper
time
would
because
make them go
she's
soggy.
vulnerable. Not that there's anything wrong with her, she's just quite old. She will get annoyed with me in a minute because I've got tomato ketchup, which we're going to use.
I do
in a
love
dirty bottle, which
Indian
makes a
food
fart
of all
noise,
types,
which
I
wasn't
must
allowed
say.
in our house because it was
Absolutely
amusing for me
love
and my
it.
brother. Okay, chips arranged. We're going to add salt and vinegar, which is what you do in a chip shop. Which would you put on first, Tom? The salt or the vinegar?
No, they're not French fries,
Jeez, I
they are
put salt on
chips.
first in the belief that the vinegar will then wash it around a bit.
Those things that he's looking at there are chips. They're thick. French fries to us are thin, like the sort of things you would get in McDonald's. Like, I don't know whether you've got a McDonald's where you are. I think McDonald's are everywhere. Those thin, mean things that you get are French fries. They're
Salt
chips.
and vinegar crisps versus salt and vinegared chips. Who would like to try that, and in which direction would you like it to be cut? Lucy Brown, have you ever had a chip butty?
I haven't, no.
You're not serious.
Oh my goodness.
You've never eaten a chip butty. What
These people are
chip butties.
southerners.
What was the other thing you mentioned earlier that you can't eat? You don't like?
In the north of England, we have chip butties.
But you can have half of this at most on the basis that which direction would you like it cut in?
Rectangular.
Thank you. Since you're going to waste it almost certainly, oh, it just feels fantastic under the knife. Okay, there, Lucy Brown, if you'd like to come round, have you eaten a crisp sandwich?
Yep.
Tell me which is best.
Which should I have first?
I don't mind. Chips. You like it? This is amazing.
There's nothing quite like a chip butty.
There's only a little bit of vinegar. Just open your mind and reach for your inner power animal. It's only vinegar. I haven't put cow poo in it. God be praised. That is an incredible result. Lucy Brown likes 2 things on the same day. They're virtually identical. I mean, these are just potatoes in a different form. You're happy with those? Would you like to take them away with you? Would you like a plate?
No?
Would you like a badge? Would you like a pay rise?
Yes, please.
Tom,
Yes.
you would like a crisp sandwich and a chip butty.
Well, I've already had the crisp sandwich, so I'll just go with the chip butty.
It's yours, sir. I may make another one for me. So you both had both. Lucy Brown, are you combining the chip
You
and
would
the crisp?
definitely
That's
love
quite a good idea, actually.
James
Lucy
May's
Brown
O
has
Cook
proposed making a
series.
double-decker sandwich by putting the crisp sandwich
It's
on
like
top of the
this,
chip butty.
only
What's it like?
That's really good.
bigger.
Got crunch. Yeah.
Yeah. Good thinking. I wouldn't have thought of that. Okay, my mother won't be watching anymore because she will have rightfully concluded that this is bollocks and has moved on to something else while using fingers. Verdict so far from behind camera about chips versus crisps.
I think chips are better than crisps. What do you think?
I agree.
Chips are more expensive as well. So, I'm going to do it my way around this time.
And not so easily obtainable. You've got to go to a chip shop for chips, whereas you can buy a packet of crisps anywhere, in a supermarket, in a little corner shop, anywhere.
Many of you are screaming at your computer, smartphones or whatever now saying, what about the tomato sauce? Yes, we have it. More experiments to come. First though, I'm sure this isn't particularly interesting if you're a viewer. I'm not sure why food programming is interesting, since the one thing you can't do is taste it, and that's what food is about. But anyway, maybe we'll play some light music or have some footage of cute kittens or puppies whilst I eat this. Do you like tomato ketchup? You do? Let's try the Lucy Brown crisps and chips. I'm not sure I can get that in my small mouth. Right. This might look a bit ungainly. That is bloody good. You're right, the crunch, and it adds more salt and vinegariness. And that is fantastic. Do you want to try that, Tom? Was that your chip sandwich?
Yeah, that's fine.
You're not going to finish it?
Well, it's a bit near lunchtime, isn't it?
Is this not lunch? No, I'll tell you what. I'll make you a combined chips and crisps. Hang on. Because I'm salivating just looking at this. There you are. Sorry about all the finger indentations.
It's really good. I think this might sound sacrilegious, but a bit of ketchup with that would make it whole.
I can do that.
Just realised, you can see James here, but you can't see what I'm painting. Never mind, you'll see it in a minute.
Appallingly hopeless, this bunker kitchen. Excuse fingers, etc. There's the fart noise that my mum didn't like.
Right. That's it. That's the perfect thing, I think.
Okay, I'm shaking with excitement. and vinegar, Tommy ketchup, council issue claggy white bread, and a bit of Lurpak spreadable butter invented in 1903.
It has to be claggy white
Start
bread.
with some Lurpak spreadable butter invented in 1903, I think. I know you're getting a bit bored of me talking about Lurpak invented in 1903 spreadable butter and so on. Lurpak, by the way, was invented in 1903. Spreadable Lurpak, that is. Lurpak-y, invented in 1903. 1903. 1903. It is, and I'm not making this up, it's perfect. Your life will be transformed. Try it now. Please, try it now.
Ah, it's good. I enjoyed that. That's what I've been doing while well, you couldn't see it because I've busily put James May in the way. Got her body in there. I'm going to zoom in now and see if I can do something with her face. Well, I've got some skin tones down here that are still nice and wet. This is much more difficult because you are working with something that is very, very... You're working on something very tiny. Whatever. This is like smaller than a penny. Literally, this woman's face is... Do you want it in centimetres? In centimetres. This woman's face is literally 1 centimetre long. So I've got working with a brush on something that is 1 centimetre in length, trying to create some semblance of a face. It's very small, believe me, but I've done it before and do it again. From the darker side. This is what I was saying, how sometimes it can be quite hard to put a darker colour over a lighter colour. I'll have to sort that out in a second. A video you watched several years ago. I wonder what was that then? Painting an airline and cruise. Oh, yeah. James Gurney. I know it. Well, in that case, I feel quite flattered because James Gurney's brilliant. Yeah, I've seen nearly everything that James Gurney's put onto YouTube over the years. It's very, very good. I think that's almost good enough. Put a bit of underneath there. Hello, Andy.
How are you?
Not so bad, matey. You?
I understand you've got another leak.
Oh God. Do you know? For so long, it was spot on. It was absolutely spot on, and the guy came and he did all the I had to go silent there, and then I got a phone call from the builders who are coming tomorrow morning to have a look at a leak that we've got. We've had so many leaks, and it's not to worry. Get in there. Let's put a touch of dark in this corner, and then about here, and some there. Some there, some there, some there. Yeah, we got a corner of the kitchen, and there's a wet room above it with a shower and a toilet in there. And there's a pipe that comes down in the corner, and it's got all these pipes between the floor upstairs and the ceiling downstairs that are just well, there was a load of leaks, and the builders came and fixed it, and now we've sprung another one. Basically, it's typical. So they're going to have to cut a hole in the ceiling again, like they did before. There are limits to what you can do at this scale, at this size. But we'll get there. He says putting his fingers in the paint, which is no good at all. Indeed, it's been nice to have you around again. I hope you're going to go away and make yourself a chip butty. Well, there we go. That's where we're at the minute. Maybe I ought to just, well, I've got it here. Just pop the legs in on the chair. Perhaps this one will be better. I don't know. Safari Sagodi. And there we have it for today, I think. It's now 22:05 and time to get on and do something else. I think that's quite a lot done there, actually. I'm really pleased with that. I'm happy with the window and the reflections and the doorway. And the first figure's not bad, really, compared to the table. So I shall be back tomorrow, hopefully to get this finished. I think tomorrow's session should see it done. I hope you have enjoyed watching and getting an idea of the way I paint with oils, which is my own personal technique that I've developed over the years, working from a very thin, very thin base of essence underneath, very thin layer of paint, and then starting to work over it and building it up in gentle layers, so the top layers have the most pigment in there and the most medium in there, so hopefully that over time it should stand the test of time really well, and it won't crack, and it will do what it's supposed to do. I'm quite pleased with it. I shall finish it off tomorrow. It will be up for sale when it's done. This one isn't part of I Paint Your Life, even though it says I Paint Your Life across the bottom of the screen. This one is actually from my life, and it will be up for sale as soon as it's done. If anybody is interested, please get in touch. Okay, it's been great having people here. It's been great having Raj join me again from India, and watching a bit of James May cooking, making chip butties. Feel free to comment below the video. Feel free to comment on Facebook or on Twitter or on YouTube or on Twitch. I am, the more the merrier as getting involved with me as I'm doing this. Okay, so love to you all. I'll see you